very good morning to Madam Bahiyyih and my fellow friends. My name is Bahiyyih Poongavanam, Matric ID 2211718. So today I will be presenting on the topic of shifting staff culture and great resignation of aviation employment. So what is aviation employment? Aviation employment refers to the job opportunities and within the aviation industry. So as we all know, COVID-19 have impacted aviation industry significantly, causing job losses, furloughs and also operational changes. However, this impact of COVID-19 is recovering in many industries including aviation as well, and it increases the travel demands again, which means the aviation employments are expected to rebound, creating more job opportunities. So what motivates me to choose this topic is, first is the relevance. So I think this topic is relevant because as we all know, aviation industry is contributing majorly towards global economy. So by understanding the trends and challenges in this industry, it helps us in understanding the shifting staff culture and the great resignation, so that we know what we can do in order to overcome the issues that are happening. Next is the impact on employees. As we all know, aviation industry is currently employing millions of people all around the world as the industry is recovering. So how it impacts on the employees is in terms of their well-being and also career. So during this COVID-19, people were focusing with their work and life balance. They spend more time with their family, and also this made them re-evaluate their work-life balance. So this is how it impacted on the employees. Next is career opportunities. As I mentioned earlier, with this new adaptation of technology, there are more career opportunities for the employees or future employees who are going to work in this industry. And next, I'll move on to the introduction. So shifting staff culture refers to the needs of changes of employees in this advancing technology, where employees now they want more transparency and opportunities in this industry in order for them to develop more and grow in this industry as well. Next, great resignation. What great resignation means is that waves of resignation by the employees because of few issues, which I will explain in later part. Next. Now we can see in this chart of the quit rate in 2020. So in September, the rate of staff quitting was 3%, which according to this chart of 2 decades, it never happened before reaching 3%. But after this COVID-19 impact, the quit rate have reached 3% because of the issues that or the things that the customer evaluate in their life. So now I'll go into the main discussion next. So what leads to this shifting staff culture and great resignation? And the first thing is adoption of new technology. So the first thing that comes to mind when we say adaptation of new technology is that it improves in the efficiency of the work. Because, for example, I could say the implementation of biometrics in aviation industry has caused a shortage of the queues and also delays in flights as well. Because when earlier before the implementation of the technology, the queues of the customers are too long because it takes time to go through one by one customers. So when the biometrics is implemented, customers can do the process by themselves, which take lesser time. And why it is challenged? Because it risks the job displacement and the need to learn new skills, which means because of this new technology adaptation, the senior employees in this industry actually required to learn new skills. That actually causes risk of their job displacement, because it takes time for them to understand or adapt these skills, or sometimes they might not adapt these skills, which causes the job loss for them. Next is lack of diversity and inclusion. So in working environment, usually it is emphasized on the diversity and inclusion, right? So it is important for us to voice out when we are not getting fair treatment, or a sense of belonging in this industry. But when we compare before COVID-19, people who work before COVID-19, the senior employees they don't tend to voice out what they are going through, their problems and all. They just listen to what their employers are telling them. Sometimes they don't share their ideas because they are afraid of rejection. But the current employees, who are the generation Y and Z, they are actually more towards voicing out their opinions and giving ideas. So this has caused changes the shifting staff culture, because the new generation, they are expecting to be heard. They want this treatment of unfair discrimination and lack of sense of belonging in this environment. So they want to make changes which actually lead to this shifting staff culture. Next is focus on well-being. As we all know, aviation industry is a high pressure working environment. But for example, we can take ATC. So due to COVID-19, this aviation industry faced lockdown and all, right? So the ATC, whoever working in aviation industry were taking a break. So that time they actually reevaluate their lifestyle, their time they spend with their families. So this has caused them to think of working in a to adapt the work-life balance. So which means after the COVID-19, some of them were working in work from home as well, right? It's a flexible working arrangement. So they were preferring a flexible working arrangement so that they can have their own time, their family time and all. Next. So in this it shows why employees are considering changing jobs in 2021. The first highlight is, of course, the better compensation from and corporate benefits. But the second, we can see that 25% of employees, they prefer a better work-life balance, as I mentioned earlier. So they are also because of lack of recognition of their work or better find corporate culture. So this actually leads to the shifting staff culture and great resignation. So according to Ryan Lackey 2021, they are looking for better paying compensation, they are looking for better corporate culture, and also they are more used to this remote work and flexible work. As for the recommendation part, in terms of operation, it is important for the company to consider offering a flexible work arrangement, because it's going to save costs for the company as well. Let's say if they allow the staffs to work from home only for the certain departments, if they work from home, it can help the company to save costs in terms of maybe renting their office or providing accommodation for their employees in terms of maybe buying a coffee machine and all. So it actually helps to save costs for them. And also flexible arrangement, as I mentioned earlier, can help the employees to have a better working efficiency, because they will not always work under a stressful environment. They will have options, like sometimes they can work from home or sometimes from the office. For example, Agoda is actually implementing this strategy where the employees are given 1 week in a month where they can work from home, and the rest of 3 weeks they can go office and work. Next, focus on employee well-being, which means the company have to come up with to support their health, mental health. They have to come up with programs and campaign that initiates their mental health. in order for them to overcome, because there are a lot of people facing their depression and stress, right? So in order to avoid that, or in order to overcome that, it is important for the company to actually come up with these kind of campaigns. Next is communicate effectively. I would say communication is a key in every situation, because it is important for a company to prepare their staffs for the upcoming changes that happens in the industry. So in order to do that, the employers have to communicate with their employees so that they are aware of what is coming. So they will be prepared, and also this helps employers to help their employees in order to get prepared. Let's say they are afraid, they think they cannot adapt with these new technologies and all. They can talk to their employers so that they can do something in order to help them prepare in this environment. Next is financial. In terms of financial, the investment in technology is going to take a short-term financial cost for the industry, but in a long term, if we see, it is going to be a cost saving for them, because how it's going to save cost for them is, first, in order to adapt the technology, you have to invest in the technology, right? You have to buy the technology. So, but then if in a long term, after we start utilizing, help the employees to adapt to this technology, it's going to help them to make the work more efficient, and also help them in cost saving, because it's going to reduce the work task of the employers. And somehow reducing the work task of the employers will also help them to work in a less stress environment. Also next, offer competitive compensation. As we see in the chart before, the first thing, 36% of them are expecting compensation, competitive compensation. So in order to provide these, companies have to recommend they have to recognize their staffs when they do a good job, or when they adapt to this new technology or what. They have to recognize their staffs by giving them incentives or raise their salaries. Next, monitor and manage turnover rates. It is important for the employers to monitor their turnovers, because when it happens, they can take a proper way to overcome these turnover rates. Next is embrace new business model. For example, Aviation during this COVID-19 pandemic, because a lot of flights were, the government has given lockdown period. So this time the airlines couldn't do anything much. So what airlines did was, Asia did was, they go into this business where they give Grab services and food services as well in order to generate their revenue. Next, how it helps employability is by providing a special training for the new generation they are coming in. So by giving a training and development programs, by investing their time in these kind of programs, they can help the employers to be more sensitive towards the working place and how to use this technology and all, because the technology is more sophisticated. So it is important for them to go through this kind of development and get more professional certificate. So as for my conclusion, it is important to understand our working environment, so in order to understand the shifting staff culture. So when we understand that, we know what to do in order to retain the staffs to stay in the